Well, I think that I'll just go back to something we were talking about earlier. It seems to me extremely unfortunate that speculation has gotten such a bad name. I argue two great advantages to speculation over what in fact goes on in the university. One, it acknowledges the tentativeness, imperfection, and uncertainty of everything that is said. Now, I personally believe that all the work that is done in any academic discipline has these characteristics, but it's not acknowledged. It's claimed very often to be scientific and therefore not speculative. Now, physicists are much less likely to do that. They know there's a speculative element in their work. And speculation simply means hypothetical thinking. You formulate the best hypothesis you can, and you test it, and if the evidence you get is supportive, that never means it's proved. That's why it always remains hypothetical. But nevertheless, you don't just spend forever with that one. You say, well, if that's the best way to think about X, then how should we think about Y? And we try to build on that, or at least develop other ideas that are coherent with it. Without speculative thought, there can be no unity within the university. You can never get to it simply by adding the results of various disciplines together because they're not coherent with each other. Without speculative thought, there can be no serious criticism of the assumptions underlying the various disciplines. So on the one hand, it's essential to a truly intellectual life. It's essential to attaining any kind of holistic view, and it's essential to keeping every effort in that direction a little bit modest and recognizing that every feature of what's taken place along the way is subject to further inquiry and testing and revision and so forth. On the other side, it's extremely liberating. I think one of the worst things about the late modern world is that so many questions that are very important to human beings are put off bounds. Students are told they shouldn't ask those questions. We have become too sophisticated to do that. To ask those questions shows that you haven't understood the work of Kant or something of this kind. But those questions are the ones by which life has to be lived. And to say anything that we can't be certain of, we mustn't think about, is appallingly restrictive. It's one of the reasons that religious concerns get excluded from the university. So maybe we have to give up the word speculative and just use something like hypothetical, which doesn't have quite the same connotation. But one way or another, the university needs to be liberated from its extremely narrow parameters.